Home is where the heart is. A turtle carries its home on its back. As humans, we carry our home in our heart. The word home has a wide variety of connotations. To some, home is merely a place where basic needs are addressed. To others, home is the foundation from which they draw their strength and tranquility. Still others view home as a place inexorably linked to family. Yet all these definitions of home imply somewhere we can be ourselves and are totally accepted. There we feel safe enough to let down our guard, peaceful enough to really relax, and loved enough to want to return day after day. However, these qualities need not be linked to a single space or any space at all. Home can be a feeling you carry inside yourself wherever you are. So you need only to become your own foundation. And doing so is merely a matter of staying grounded and centered and recognizing that the pleasures you enjoy in one place will still touch your heart when you're in another if you allow them. Your home can be any space or state of being that fulfills you, provided you're at peace with yourself and your surroundings. A person can feel like home to you, as can seasons or activities. If you feel disconnected from what you once thought of as home, your detachment could be a signal you are ready to move on. But simply put, you will know you have found your home when both your physical environment and your energetic surroundings are in harmony with the individual you are within. So becoming your own foundation, practices and frames of mind that bring you home to yourself. If anything floated through your mind during that reading, maybe you would like to recommit to doing those things more regularly, whether it's time in nature, time on your mat, time with those who are really close to you. And also thinking about home. During this pandemic, maybe you have settled more deeply into your home because you spend so much time there and have found comfort. But perhaps the opposite's true. The mild discomfort that you experienced in your home prior to this pandemic may be now magnified, so it's not a comfortable place to be. But either way, because life is so unpredictable, ever-changing, impermanent, we have all the more reason to cultivate a sense of home within ourselves, dwelling in your peaceful, sacred center, which is not dependent on living in a certain place or on the outer circumstances. So what better time than now to invest in the practices that help you feel at home with yourself and more at ease in your body. So together, let's kind of journey home through breath and through movement. So you can deepen your breath now. And as I encouraged you before, be aware of your foundation. So for now, just your physical foundation, the solid, firm ground underneath you, whether it's your yoga mat or the flooring in the room where you are. Kind of feel that as home base, that contact that you've got. And then just bring your attention to your breath. Even notice it at the tip of your nostrils. Just follow your breath inside, become aware of your heartbeat, your body sensations, relaxing and opening. And you give yourself permission just right now to be at home for a little while. You don't have to do or overdo anything. One of my spiritual teachers says that awareness is the essential ingredient in a spiritual life. So let's take left hand over the heart right where you are reclining, left hand over the heart, and just bow to the awareness that is opening up for you right now. You know, physical awareness, emotional awareness, energetic awareness, spiritual awareness. Just like the lens is starting to widen with the dropping in, dropping down, coming home to every breath, coming home to the body that you live in, and bowing to the intentions that you have for your practice, your individual needs. Easy flow of breath. And then take your right hand over your heart and add that. So now we've got both hands, and we're just remembering that our practice really can benefit all beings. That the way that we move our body, the way that we breathe, we can intend that it send ripples and waves of loving and kind and good energy out beyond where we are. So that our yoga becomes a prayer that sends love and sacred presence out into the world. And so may all beings find a way home to deep peace and true nature, and a thriving and a radiance and a service. You can release and bring your body into a long stretch right down the center of your mat, just kind of like a pencil right down center. And we're going to shift into a side bend right from here. So they call it banana asana. So please step your heels to the front right corner of your mat. With your right hand, take hold of your left wrist, and bit by bit, shorten your right side waist, lengthen left side body. Some of you might want to cross the right ankle over the left. Keep thinking of your breath as part of your home base. It keeps bringing you back from wherever the mind drifts off to. The mind's very good at that. And as the breath starts to deepen, I really do let the belly fill, the ribs right on up to the chest, like you're filling up a glass with this beautiful essence called prana, your chi, life force energy coming in on the breath. Staying for 5 more breaths with the option of bending the right leg, put your right foot on the ground, reach your right hand down, and if your body allows you, right hand grabs the right ankle, and then increase the side bend just a little bit more. Extend a little longer from left heel all the way up through left side body, all the way out to the left hand. Big breath in and out. Beautiful. And let's come back to center. We'll head over to the other side. Walk both your heels to the front left corner of your mat. Left hand grabs the right wrist. Side bend here. We're staying as flat to the ground as we can through the head, the shoulders, whole back body, hips. If it feels good for you to cross left ankle over right, you can do that. So it pins down the right heel and might help you draw more attention to opening your right side body, and then kind of shortening left side waist where your left lower ribs feel like they can pull down towards your left hip a little bit more. Cleansing breaths. Deep intention to let go of tension on the breath out and just receive this inpouring of energy through your inhale. Stay here longer with the option to bend the left leg, put your left foot flat on the ground, left hand grabs left ankle, and maybe some of us will increase the side bend just a little bit more here by virtue of connecting with that left ankle. Breathe in, breathe out. Gently release. And then please draw both your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. If it's possible for the crook of the elbow to wrap over each kneecap, do that. And if not, use just the palms. But if you're able to wrap, then you can interlace your fingers, and then you've got a nice grip holding in toward the armpits. And now you've got the opportunity to rock from side to side. Let that be gradual. So you're feeling a little bit of rocking side to side, the low back really getting to soften down. And allow your awareness to be full and rich. Notice everything that's happening right now. That's how you can get the most out of your practice, is just keep on noticing, welcoming sensation, kind of being the witness of thoughts and feelings as they go by, and just notice your ability to watch them and not engage with them necessarily. Just respect them. Come back to center if you would. Now interlace your fingers on the front of the right knee. Stretch your left heel up and take a few moments here to ground down. So I'm taking my elbows out wide, pulling my right knee toward my right chest pretty firmly, and then to point and flex both feet. And as we just stay right here, you have the opportunity to ground with the whole back body, also to use the energy of your lower abdomen to help push your low back down. And the next time your feet come into a neutral position, lower your left leg down, almost touching your left heel to the mat, and lift it back up. Drop your attention really into the lower abdomen, so that region south of the navel and just right above the pubic bone, and try to lift your left leg up from the muscles of that deeper core area. Keep breathing deeply. And the next time your left heel lowers down, you can either drop it to the ground to be gentle, or more vigorous would be to hold your left heel right off the mat. And then we're all going to lift up into at least a tiny crunch, head and shoulders slightly off the mat. So really kind of heading down into the core. Option, if you want, to take your hands behind your head, right holding the base of the skull. And take a few breaths here. Some of you might want to pulse up a little bit higher. Some of you don't want to work that hard, so you put your head and shoulders back down. And then you can either drop down and rest, or stay with me up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release your head, hands back to the knee, right? Now soften, drop your left leg to the ground and draw your right knee in towards your right chest and pulse it in a few times. So you're creating that compression. This is good for your digestion, but you're also able to push your left thigh down toward the ground. So you're getting an opening on the front of the left hip. Right, and then let's lift the left leg slowly back up, really, really slowly. Lots of core at work right there. Pause with your left foot up and then switch. Interlace your fingers on the front of the left knee. Draw it in towards your left chest more and more and more until you feel you've really got a tight grip. And then a few times circling your ankles here. Spread through your toes. Bring some nice good attention and energy to your feet. Good, and then hold, neutral position with the feet. Lift and lower your right leg a few times. Dropping it down just above the ground, lift it back up. Take your elbows out to the side, engage the muscles of your arms, and feel some firmness coming across your chest. Your collarbones are wide, shoulders down from the ears, and low belly getting stronger, moment by moment, lifting from deep core. And of course, you're breathing more and more deeply. Let's lower the right leg down. Hold the right heel just off the mat, unless you want to be more gentle, in which case you can put the right heel down at this time. And then we'll all lift up, even just a tiny bit. Doesn't take all that much to activate the core. If you want more, lift higher. If you want more, take your hands behind your head, base of the skull with your palms. Breathe. Good. If you're staying with me, we're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, re-grab your left knee, pull it in, drop your right leg to the ground, your right Heel connects also. Good strong squeeze, left knee to left chest, and press down with your right thigh bone. Good. Receive the compression, left lower abdomen, and the opening in the front of your right hip. Good. And then release into a long body stretch. Reach, reach, reach. As you exhale, bring your hands right down by your sides. Press your palms down. Bend your legs. Push into your feet. We're going to come in and out of bridge. So press your hips up and then lower back down. And you can just start to do that. You probably have to readjust your footing a little bit to make sure that you feel like you can push into the whole foot the way that you want to. You can start adding the arms if you'd like. Bring the arms overhead when the hips rise, and bring your hands back down when your hips drop. And then just find a flow like that. Try breathing in when you lift and breathing out when you drop back down. And if you haven't yet started putting sound to your breathing, you might want to do that now, because that's going to add just a good quality of awareness to your practice. Anything that adds awareness is really good. And then next time we lift, let's stay. I'm going to bring my hands down by my sides. You could do the same. And then if you start to walk your shoulder blades underneath the back of your body, you might be able to take a bind, palm to palm, interlace your fingers. And then what if you flap your legs like butterfly wings at first, just to kind of get some awareness going as far as where's inseam of the leg, outer seam of the leg, and then establish a really strong press down into your feet and activate your inner thighs, kind of squeezing them toward each other without touching, the knees together at all, just as if there was a block between your knees. Keep rooting down through the soles of the feet, the back of the head, the arms. Take that breath all the way into the body, filling up belly, ribs, chest, and long breath out. Okay, when you're ready to come out, you can unbind the hands if you took it, widen your upper back, sometimes coming up onto your toes as you lower your body down to the mat feels pretty good. And then a hug in with the knees. So for some of us, simple knee hug is plenty of release for the back. For others of us, we might want to elevate the legs and wrap your hands behind your calves. So I've got my palms touching my calves, my legs are together, my knees are bent, and then you could slide your hands up in the direction of your heels, any amount, and then you might want to lift your head slightly off the ground, cheekbones toward the kneecaps, and a little bit of rock along the spine. Only if that feels good for you. It's intended just to release your back, be a good counter stretch for the position you had your spine in bridge. And they say the spinal rocking really wakes up some energy. So I'd say that I agree with that. And the next time you slow it back down, let's keep the legs bent, but take the arms out into a T shape. They're like anchors out to the sides. Your palms are down. Abdominal rotations. I'm going to drop the knees a little bit left to right. And you're just going to feel into, as your body's warming up and your energy is coming online and you're more centered and aware and at home in your breath and in your body. Just see, do you want to go further? Do you want to take the knees further over to the side? If your body is liking that kind of core challenge, you could lengthen your legs and do the same thing as you go from side to side. You can have some little fun with it. It's kind of bending one leg and just having the other one straight. It can be kind of artistic, expressive with your yoga. As far as what you do with your feet and your hands, that's a fun way to add something interesting. Good. And next time you've got your legs over toward the right, let's challenge the core by hovering any amount Legs are bent to the right, but they're not touching the ground, although we are going to head down into a spinal twist. And as you're hovering, if you've got a block or a blanket handy and you want to toss it on over to the side so that your legs will land, you can do that. And when that is the time, let your legs drop all the way over to the right and come into a reclining spinal twist. You might take your right hand on your top knee, give it a gentle press down, and from that point, a diagonal cross body stretch and opening from the left knee to the left shoulder, and then all the way out to the left hand. Turn your head any direction that just feels interesting or good, or you can just keep the soft gaze straight up. And just like the breath is smoothing out, your awareness is opening. You're just cultivating an inner climate of kindness and receptivity. Just what wants to be noticed. Receiving the gifts of your practice, and sometimes it's predictable, and sometimes it's surprising. 5 more breaths. Let your spine relax. It's cleansing for your field of energy and for your organs in the torso. And then join me, please. Left knee comes through center into a T. Do any kind of little realigning that you might need. And now we're going to hover legs to the left and just let them stay right there. Pull down with your right shoulder, your right outer ribs. Hover as much as you want to challenge your core. And when it feels right to you, drop your legs all the way to the left. I've got a blanket that's on the floor and I'm resting my folded legs on it. Just the alignment makes my back a little bit happier. You can try that. And then left palm on the right knee. And then that diagonal, beautiful stretch from right knee across the body to right shoulder as it drops, all the way out to your right hand. And it's up to you to find that balance between effort and ease. So there's effort in coming into the pose. And once you're there, you could decide to just really let go in every way. Or you could be a little more engaged by pressing down with your left hand, dynamically pulling down with your right shoulder. Do what feels good to you. Keep letting those exhales be your therapy. The more you let go of, the more your true nature will be your experience. And that is a wonderful thing. When you're ready, come with me. Pull that right knee back up. And we're going to rock our way up to a seat. I'm going to recommend that you put your hands behind your knee creases and give a little rock. Or maybe you love that spinal rocking, in which case you might want to rock several times before you actually land in boat pose. All right. So boat pose, hands behind the knees. If that's a little too much work for this moment, put your feet down and just lean back on your hands. Otherwise, I'll come with me right here and then knit your ribs towards your thigh bones. Move your low back forward toward the groin. And maybe take the challenge, lift your arms up or out. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down. Drop your knees out. Reach your hands down. Contact your feet if you can, or your ankles. And we're going to stay in butterfly. And I'm going to turn to face you, but you're going to stay right where you are. If you do want to grab a little blanket, tuck it underneath your seat, go right ahead. You have plenty of time to do that. And then let's fold forward. Let's just give our spine a rest. We did a lot of core just now. So as the head falls forward, where does it feel good to place your hands? And then in the leaning of the chest toward the feet, again, you've just got this opportunity. This is what I love about gentle yoga. You can be really soft in your postures, or you can engage a great deal. Say, if you want to be soft, just drape, fold, let your head hang, even just give it a little shake. If you're looking for something more dynamic, take your elbows and press your leg bones out to the side, draw your chest forward, and gaze at the top of your mat. If you want to create sensation, you can rock your torso even just an inch left and right, or you can push into one sitting bone and then the other. And in fact, if your neck is kind of tight, you can sway your head side to side along with that rocking. And let your facial muscles melt and your jaw really soften. Long exhale. Let yourself sigh. Let tension go out through your mouth. And then hold still. 5 breaths right here. Feel it. Let's roll our way up. Good. Let's come into a straddle before we get ready to do some standing poses. So right on out to the side with the heels. If you're still using a blanket like I am, you might want to take the padding of the buttocks, pull it back a little bit, and sit right toward the front edge of your blanket. If you got cranky knees, tuck a block behind each knee. That might feel better. And then start by just upright torso and straight arms down by your side. Contact your fingertips to the ground. And sometimes I like to think of my fingertips as like prongs on an appliance that just plug into the outlet. So I'm going to take Bu Mudra, which is like, the peace fingers, and I'm push them right down into the ground. Like I'm plugging into the pure, sacred mother energy of the earth. Close your eyes. If you like imagery that resonates, if not, it might just seem silly, but that's okay. You've got your fingers on the ground. Breathe. Receive oxygen, prana, chi, energy from the earth on that in-breath. Out-breath, just let it settle. Just say thank you inwardly. And then start to tilt forward. Set your hands out in front of you. You can stay up on the fingertips if that's just what works for you, or walk your hands further forward. And it's a 10 or 12 breath stretch, so no rush. If you drop the gaze, then you'll probably be keeping your neck in alignment. I want you to feel like your inner groin area is rolling down toward the ground. Up to you, feet can be soft and rather unattended, or you can flex your ankles and have your toes pointing up and energize your legs more. It's an option for you. And then as we stay in the fold, if you feel like it, tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder, soften the left side of your neck and the interior of your mouth. And then gently shift the other way. Left ear toward left shoulder. Again, softening, softening. And 5 slow, deep breaths here. Be the observer, how your body responds to these shapes and these opportunities. Feeling to your edges, respecting where a stretch stops for you, or maybe where something opens and it just takes you by surprise. And then please come with me, walk your hands back in. Feel your spine roll its way right back up to vertical. Now we're going to gather the legs in, and we're going to cross the ankles. You're going to come through into tabletop, so hands and knees. If you've got that blanket, if you've got cranky knees and you need to do a little extra padding, it's right there for you. Right, we're shifting. From within tabletop, you might want to just kick your feet around like that. Just bring some energy and awareness to your feet. Yeah. And then just kind of slow that down and feel all 10 toes find their home base on the ground. Got your knees have home base. And then start to round your spine slowly. And do that not only by dropping your head and dropping your tailbone, but achieve that rounded spine also by pulling the navel in, and up. Stay here for a moment. Press down into your hands. Engage your arms. Arm bones, thigh bones, like the four legs of a table. And then slowly, as you start to bring your spine back into a flat position, curl those toes under, leave them there. Keep going, descending with the ribs and lifting with the sitting bones and the heart. And the gaze is softly forward, pausing right here. Feel the lengthening, the stretching, open of the front body. Good. And then you just bookmark those two places. So just start your flow between cat right here and cow. And then start to make it your own. So yogi's choice, you can stay here in just this classic, moving through these, I think it's probably 2 planes of movement here, I'm not sure. Or you can add more to that by circling, kind of stepping your palms out a little bit. You can keep the cat and cow flexion going, but you can have the hips circling more. Okay, come back to your breath. Really tune into how your body extended child's pose and like a kneeling push-up. And see if you can get that movement to happen, not so much maybe from the shoulders or the hips, but can you generate it from the core? So like the belly button pulls your hips back towards your heels, breathing out, and then let your belly button pull your body forward as you breathe in. So try that a couple of times. Where you place your mental attention is generally where energy starts to concentrate and flow. So that's interesting. And then if you want to convert this, like I'm going to, into downward facing dog and forward into plank, you can give that a try, or up dog, if up dog's in your practice. So let's just keep the flow of breath and movement going. This time of year, things can get really dry and brittle. It's Vata season. And so getting some juicy movement going, drinking plenty of water, getting our emotions flowing as well, all just helps us not get dry and stuck. Nice. And then yogi's choice for 10 breaths. You can choose downward facing dog, or you can drop into child's pose. Or if you have more of a like vinyasa flow practice and you want to take a few vinyasas, feel free to do that. Breathe deeply. If you're upside down, really do let your skull like have its full heavy feeling so that you get some nice stretch through the cervical spine.
Good chance to stretch into the back of those legs. Good. And then where we're going from here is we're going to all meet at the top of the mat in a forward fold. So you walk your feet up, slow and steady as you go. Get yourself to the top of the mat and then hang your head down. Arm options are ragdoll, cupping your opposite elbows, or you could take a bind behind your back if you really want to keep working into the chest and shoulders. And we'll stay for a few breaths here. You can bend and straighten your legs a little bit. You can sway side to side. We just want to keep you moving and flowing, breathing and smiling. And then unbind your hands from wherever they are. Let's slowly roll up.
Nice. Put a ponytail in if you need it. And bring your hands all the way up overhead with me. Okay. So you stay facing where you are. I'm just going to give you a good view here. I hope it's a good view. We'll step back and then press into both feet. Bring your hands together, interlace your fingers, and come into a Vajra mudra or a temple mudra. Looks like that. Tip my screen up a little bit, this segment. Good. And let's come into a standing side half moon. So solid in the feet, drop your tail, lift your kneecaps up a little bit. Your quads are strong, side bend to the right. Good. Don't strain your neck so the head just lands comfortably wherever it wants to be. Like my right ear wants to rest on my right shoulder. Breathe. Keep rooting to your feet. Good. Keep your legs really engaged. Your tailbone is dropping, right ribs opening. Maybe your left ear rests on your left shoulder. Strong breath. Squarely facing forward. Strong core again. Come back up. Straighten your way up. Pause. Good. Turn your fingertips out. Comb through the air around you. And you come right down into a fold at the top of your mat. Just like slow motion fold. Half salutations. Hands to the shins. Inhale. Bring your heart forward. We're going to stay for a couple of breaths. Take the whole form very slowly because I really want you to feel length through your legs, length through your arms, and length through your trunk. Good. Next time you breathe out, slowly fold towards your legs. Bring your hands as close to the ground as you can. Bend your knees if you'd like. Pause right here. Feel. Home base is down in the feet. Bend your knees and roll up to standing. Bring your hands out and away. Reach, comb all the way up through the air around you. Bring your palms together. Slide your thumbs to your heart. Bend your knees and find chair. So heels, a little more weight in the heels and your hips are behind your heels. We'll come back to that temple mudra or that Vajra mudra, interlacing all the fingers except for the pointer. Point down toward the ground. I'm going to take a 4-part mudra flow. It's like an intention set in motion. And as you start to stand up, lift your pointer fingers up. This is raising the banner of your intentions. Always return to your intentions. And then as you sit back into chair, take your elbows apart, your fingers are interlaced, your hands pass right in front of your face, right down past your heart and toward the ground. You're just releasing things that you need to let go of. Then you're going to come back to standing. Those interlaced palms face forward now. You're just opening up. Stand up, inhale, bring your hands over your head. And then as your hands part, you're just encircling yourself. This is symbolizing your blessing yourself. Hands come down, you're blessing all beings. And as your hands reach down toward the earth, you're blessing the earth. Fold here. Breathe.
step your right foot as far back as you can. Drop your right knee. The kneeling lunge. You can have a block close by if you'd like. So we'll likely do a little twisting here. Take your time. When you're ready, stack your hands on your left knee. Good. If you feel like you're going to tip over either to the left or to the right, you need to take your left foot and move it left a little bit more. And just pulse the pelvis down toward the left heel several times. Remember, home base is down in the feet. And just notice sometimes our shoulders creep up by our ears. We don't even realize we're doing it, but it sends a tense message to the body. So peel your shoulders down away from your ears. And then next time the hips just settle, engage your legs so you feel like you've got some buoyancy and support for the pelvis. Take your arms all the way out and up. Spread through the fingers. Some of us will lift the ribs up away from the left thigh bone, lean back slightly, and you'll feel beautiful curve come into your spine. You can widen your arms a little bit more if you want a deeper stretch from the heart center out to the fingertips. And we're going to flow a few times here. So we're going to take the fingertips behind us, any amount, look down, look forward, and just like you're scooping up, just these radiant blessings all the way up, let them shower down over you. A couple times like that. So I'm going to breathe in. I'm just scooping up. It's this goodness pouring over you. Breathing out. And twice more. Inhale, scoop it up, reach up. Exhale, let it shimmer its way down. And inhale one more time. And let it fall. And this time, as you look down, put your right hand on the mat or on your block, your left hand on your left knee, and start a slow 5-breath twist to the left. So you're in a kneeling lunge with a twist, heading left. And then that's yours to play with. You can stay right here. This is great. You could curl the right toes under, straighten your right leg if you want more vigor in the lower body. And you could also take the left fingertips up and kind of point right up overhead to 12 o'clock. Or if you're really like enjoying this fluidity like I am tonight, you can just circle your left arm any number of times. Just keep on breathing. Good. Explore your body's abilities and respect the limitations. That's key. All right. And then we're going to drop back down. Pause with me right here. Scoot that block off to the side if you used it, and lift your right knee off the ground if it's down. So you're in a runner's lunge. We're heading to warrior 2. Very simply, drop your right heel and then press off your fingertips so you can bring your arms up overhead. You're turning toward the right side of your mat. Sorry, my back is to you right now. And here you are, warrior 2. Left toes face forward, left arm faces forward. And home base is right down in those feet. Let's just move a little bit here. Tip your left palm up, take your right hand back, leaning back, exalted warrior. And through into the side angle, left elbow to left thigh. You're looking at the right side of your mat. Take your right arm up overhead. And so take that at any pace that you'd like. You want to have it make sense for you in the way that you breathe. So I like to breathe in when I'm leaning back and breathe out when I'm coming through and over into that lateral reach. Just do a couple times. Pace that works for you. Building that lower body strength, that upper body fluidity, and just some graceful movement. Nice. And eventually where we're going from here is we're all going to meet up in a downward facing dog. So you can get there any way you want. That left foot needs to step back toward the right foot. And yogi's choice. You can stay in your down dog. You can drop into child's pose, or you can take a flow with me. So if you want to follow my instructions, come forward into high plank. Lower your knees, look forward. Softly melt your body to the ground. Heart, head drops. Press into your palms, come up through cobra. And exhale your way back, either into child's pose or into downward facing dog. Good. 5-breath pause there for you. To see,
I'm just checking on you. 5 breaths. Downward facing dog, child's pose, anything else you'd like. We just want you to breathe deeply, feel your body, right? Strong, flexible, full of breath, energy, awareness. And then together, we're all going to meet at the top of the mat in a forward fold. So get your feet up toward the top of your mat. Establish mindful footing. So each foot is there on purpose. Fold. Bend your knees. You're going to come into chair. And we'll take that 4-part mudra flow one more time. So you've got that Vajra or temple mudra. You're in chair. You're going to lift up. Raising the banner of your intentions. You alone know what those are. Breathe out, releasing what doesn't serve you back into chair legs. Your hands pressed toward the ground like a coffee press. Breathe in, stand back up, open up. Breathe out. Just receive those blessings. All the way back down. Return that gratitude to Mother Earth. Bow, fold. Inhale, come up into a half lift. Breathe out, touch down with your hands. Step your left foot way back and drop your left knee to the mat. Kneeling lunge here. Rise, stack your hands on your right knee. Good. Get your foundation set. Sole of the right foot, top of the left foot. Little pulsing of the pelvis toward right heel is good. Engaging legs, outer hips. Little check-in. What's the quality of your attention right now? How deeply engaged are you with breath? Are you like awake but soft? Kind of going for that. And then drop your hips where they're good and settled for you. Like I said, engage the legs for support. Take your arms all the way up. And take some moments here to create the form. Deep kneeling lunge. Some of us will lift the ribs up away from the right thigh bone. We'll open through the heart, maybe open through the arms. A few of you might gaze up for the challenge. Good, and let's do a few of those circling, showering of grace and love. So scoop it forward, reach in, up. Let your hands just kind of shower down any way behind you that you can reach. A couple times inhale, scooping up. Exhale, just let it shimmer down over you. Twice more. Beautiful. Look down, fingertips down, left palm to the mat or onto the block. Right hand onto the right knee. So we're still in a kneeling lunge. We're going to take a twist to the right, rotate. Good. Scissor your thighs toward each other or toward the midline of the mat. So you keep your right knee over your right ankle. Keep rotating. Find that where the twist feels really good for you. Just focus on that. Option to curl the left toes under, straighten and power up your left leg. Just keep on twisting. And then do as you wish with your right arm. It could stay down. You could go straight up to 12 o'clock, or you could circle right arm. Good. Sound to the breath. Good. Deep engagement with the breath. And then the gaze drops. That block can go off the mat. Pause. Pull your left knee off the mat if it's not already. Turn the left heel down, preparing for warrior 2. The arms come up and they land in that T shape. You're facing the left side of your mat with your chest. Your right toes and your right fingertips are pointing toward the front of the mat, and your left leg is straight. Warrior 2. Settle. Relax, focus. And then some movement Left hand drops back, right hand turns up. This is Exalted Warrior. Beautiful side opening. Through center, right elbow to right thigh bone. Reach your left arm up. Long lateral stretch, side angle, left foot to left hand. And then it's your flow. Have it match your breathing or match your mood. Don't hesitate to be creative. You to feel your power and your fluidity, all contained in this little flow. And eventually, we're going to meet up in downward facing dog. So I'm going to go from my side angle. I'm going to look down, put my hands down, hips go up, right foot goes back to meet the left, but you can get there any way you want. Doesn't have to be graceful necessarily. And this is concluding kind of our more active part of the practice. So 10 breath, yogi's choice. You can stay in your down dog or play around with it, lifting up one foot at a time. You could take a rest, or you can follow me in a flow. High plank, knees down, slow melt to the earth, rising through cobra, exhaling back into child's pose or downward facing dog. We are all, within the next few moments, going to meet in a wide-kneed child's pose. But you just need to do your thing. And so as you drop down into your wide-kneed child's pose, there's just so many options here. If your shoulders are stiff or just difficult tonight, you can be on the elbows, stack your hands, rest your head on your hands somehow, and allow the inner groin to drop. Soften your ribs, your chest. Any place that you notice where the body is restricted, tight, bring just the loving attention of your breath there and just see, be curious. Can gentle breath attention actually soften a part of the body? I find sometimes yes and sometimes no, but you can play around with that. Deep breaths. We're heading into frog from here. So you could stay in your wide-kneed child's pose if you're just like got settled and wondering why I'm suggesting something else. You can just stay in your wide-kneed child's pose. Or if you want to come into frog, it might behoove you to turn a quarter turn so that as your knees go wide, your knees stay on your mat. So you could be turning, toward one side of the mat. Your knees go even wider. And if you're taking this pose, you're going to walk your elbows forward. So I think I'll go sideways. Show you. You want to have your hips in line with your knees. So it's kind of like tabletop, except you take the knees really, really wide, move your feet apart, and then find a way to rest your head. You can stack your hands. Some people benefit from taking a block, put it under the chest, and then drop down. Huge stretch for the groin. It's also because there is so much sensation associated with this pose, is a really great meditative posture where you practice breathing through sensation. And here it's physical sensation, but you can use the same skill when you're find yourself in an intense emotional situation. You just breathe your way through the intensity and you see what can soften. And you just hold space for yourself. So 10 breaths will be here. Be curious about any area of the body that softens and opens, and then you can kind of drop and lean into that, find a new edge, or you could decide not to. Tune into your own breath right now. Eyes closed, feeling your own interior self. Hmm. 5 more breaths. When you feel ready, come on your elbows, walk your knees in toward each other, take your time, and then drop down onto your belly. Let's find Sphinx Pose together. So take your time. If you went sideways on your mat, you're going to want to turn back toward the front of your mat. So I'm on the elbows, I got the palms here. It doesn't have to be a rigorous Sphinx Pose. In fact, if you're just really tired, take your elbows wide and take this as a belly down Shavasana. Otherwise, be with me in Sphinx, drawing the elbows back, palms are wide. So home base is palms and forearms, pelvis, thighs, legs, tops of the feet. Get your spine any amount longer, chest any amount wider. Find neutral for your head. Not trying to lift the chin and not necessarily, dropping it way down unless you want to. And feel the strength of your back, the length of your legs, the sensation running down the inseam of both legs. And how the body might feel just a little more luminous and expanded in every way. And let's soften completely out of that. Take your elbows wide, stack your hands, put your left cheek down, bend your knees, windshield wiper your feet side to side. And what do you notice? What feels good about this? Little game you can play with yourself is, what I'm noticing is, and then you can just fill in the blanks. What I'm noticing is my thigh bones rolling across the mat, for example, or what I'm noticing is the temperature of the air as it passes my feet. Or what I'm noticing is I'm clenching my teeth and I need to relax my jaw. So just ask yourself, your own inner teacher can ask you that question. What are you noticing? Or what I'm noticing is, slow the rocking down and as smoothly as you can, find your way onto your back. And just make it mindful. So nothing reckless or fast about it. I'm going to do a tiny bit for the hips, and then we're heading into Shavasana. So if you need to add clothing or anything like that, you could do that now. And take your time. It's mindful transitions really are part of the art of this science of yoga. So I'm on my back, legs are bent. I'm going to cross the right leg over the left and a really deep crisscross. So I've got my right knee just right on top of my left knee. And then bring your legs in and reach your hands, make some kind of contact. So what I'm going to do is take the left hand onto my right knee and slide down toward my right ankle as far as I can. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Right hand grabs the left knee, slide down the left shin bone as far as you can. And now you've got your legs like an eagle. If you know what eagle pose is, this feels something like eagle on your back or double pigeon on your back. And then just kind of work with that. See what feels good. You can rock a little side to side, We're approaching it as a hip stretch, and also a counter pose, because we did have the legs apart quite a bit. So now we're just bringing the inner thighs close to each other to bring balance. And then maybe you can just slow the rocking down and just be with this stretch. You might feel like you want with your hands to pull your shins or your ankles, toward the outer edges of your mat. See if that appeals to you. Check in with your breathing. Really let home base now is the back of the skull, back of the shoulders, whole back of the torso, low back. Good. And let's release. And let's flip the legs the other way. All the way around. Left crosses over the right. Bend the knees. Good. Same thing. Right hand's going to find the left knee, slide down the left shin as far as it's able to go. Left hand finds right knee. Slide your left hand down. The shins, you're somewhere holding on to the lower portion of the legs. Settled on your back. You might have a little blanket underneath your head if that helps make you feel more balanced and neutral in your torso. Little rocking. I kind of pulse the thigh bones in toward your torso if that feels like it's getting a good stretch into the hips. Then at some point, the little wiggling, the micro moving stops, and you can just be there with the stretch, applying pressure, from your hands and feeling the strength of your arms helping create this stretch. Good. And let's just let that go. Unwind your legs. Put your feet down on your mat. And we're going to take a spinal twist in this particular way that I'm going to describe to you. So knees are bent and pinky toes are right at the outer edge of the mat. So wide. Arms come out into wide position, wide T position. And then tip your knees to the right and to the left. Yep. And then just start to make that a nice smooth motion. And just see how that goes. Back and forth a few times. You can feel the twist primarily, I think, in the lower back with this. And the next time your knees fall left, let's just let them stay. You've rolled to the outer ridge of your left foot and the inner ridge of your right foot. Breathing, and you might notice, you can ask yourself, what am I noticing right now? I know I'm noticing a long stretch from my right knee, up my right thigh, through my right hip, right ribs, into my right shoulder. Also feeling the outer left hip softening down, or like being invited to melt down a little bit. What do you notice about your breathing right now? And then slowly, like a moving meditation, take your knees across center, across, until both knees drop right. Let them stay. You want your thigh bones to feel really heavy. You've rolled to the inner ridge of the left foot, outer ridge of the right foot. What do you notice in terms of sensation here? And slowly, knees come back up. Let's do a final knee hug. Some of you might want to come into happy baby with the knees wide. Hold on to your feet and rock a little side to side. I'm hoping it feels good in your low back as well as a nice stretch through your hips. Just remember, if you can't reach the feet, maybe you can grab onto the ankles or hook behind your thigh bones. Just be creative. And do that as long as you want. Whenever you're ready, I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together and right down onto the mat. Your legs are in that diamond, that butterfly shape. And I'd like you to take your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. And you stay there breathing. I'd like to come up a little bit closer so I can talk to you. And the sweetness of that message, that home being where the heart is. And the longer you're on the spiritual path, and the more you understand that your true nature is love and purity, and you don't need to work at that. You just need to let go and come home to it. The more you know that, the more you will thrive. So I just want you to be here. Let your thigh bones be heavy out to the side. You have become your own foundation. Your state of being is peace. Home is that feeling you carry inside of you. Home is a full acceptance. A place where you can just be who you are. You can stay in this position any amount of time that serves you, or you can shift into classic corpse pose, into Shavasana with long legs and comforting position of your arms, maybe a covering with a blanket. I mention it every once in a while, but I think if I was taking class tonight, I think a heating pad would be something that I would have either wished I'd plugged in and had around, or maybe some of you did think about that. But winter gentle yoga, and especially if you join me on Thursday nights for yin, having a heating pad can be really, really cozy and nice. So you are going to settle in. Plan to be in this resting position for 10 minutes. I'll be guiding you for a portion of that. And then when I leave the room, I'm hoping that you will stay. So let your body heal, let your heart heal, let your mind, the lens of your mind, clear. Let yourself be found. Time for a sigh, perhaps, if you're that kind of yogi. I wasn't when I started, but I am now. So much happens for me. Just a sigh really takes me to the next level of dropping in. And so sometimes I do think of Shavasana like dessert. It is just such a sweet part of the practice. You know, all your senses are online. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Through breath and movement and intention and grace, you arrive in this state of being relaxed and open, clear, highly aware, and whole. Just receiving the gift of your life. Allow your head to relax. Let your mind to just be at ease. Ultimately, you have not one thing to worry about. Feel any remaining tension drain out of your face. Feel the soft way that your eyelids cover your eyes and invite you inward. As your breath becomes natural, whole body becoming natural, the great perfection of being you. Natural mind, natural body, natural breath. Whole torso melting down, heart space opening. Rivers of energy flowing through not only the blood in your veins, but the energy pathways that have been mapped by ancient wise ones are open. Organs of your body are being restored. Balance is yours. Your legs are relaxed, your feet resting gently, just like Mother Earth is cupping your heels in her palms. And you're tasting the sweetness of life. And in keeping with that idea of this being dessert and this inner radiance, I'm reading to you from the Radiance Sutras. Tasting dark chocolate, a ripe apricot, a luscious elixir. Savor the expanding joy in your body. Nature is offering herself to you. How astonishing to realize this world can taste so good. When sipping some ambrosia, raise your glass, close your eyes, toast the universe. The sun and the moon and the earth danced together to bring you this delight. Receive the nectar on your tongue as a kiss of the divine. So this posture of Shavasana, this is the dessert of your practice. The kiss of the divine. Relaxed awareness, wholeness, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. All these fruits of the Spirit are present for you. Feel and savor the gentle way that the body breathes itself. The provision that is here for you to rest and renew, and also to simply just be held. It is my wish for you and for all beings to be at peace, to be well provided for, to be safe and happy and healthy. So may that reality be yours. May your practice transform you, that you might share more of your gifts and your love with the world. And I send you each wishes for peace, health, and happiness now and always. Namaste. And I will see you again in class soon. Please stay at rest a bit longer. Take care.